All the way from the start, I can feel it in my heart, like all the way from the start.
Hey, what's going on out there? I'm Sean Devine. Hope you all are doing well. Today I've got a new review. We're taking a look at a cool new device that I'm really excited about sharing with you all. It's called the Clarity M Stereo. It's from TC Electronic, and it is a display that gives you a lot of different useful visual indications for your mixing, your production, your mastering. Maybe you're working in post-production or film, and you want to make sure that you're able to closely monitor things like true peak, like the new loudness standards like LUFS, correlation for your phase, mono deviation, real-time analyzer, seeing how your stereo relationship is working for your mix, just all kinds of different things that this thing can do. And it takes this outside of your monitor, so you don't have to use a plugin. Utilizing the breakout cable, you can either measure with AES. There's a number of different adapters that this device includes. So you can use a direct output from your audio interface or your mixing board to this. You can also use an optical input. And if you don't have any of that I/O on your setup, you can also use USB. And they even include a plugin that you just put on your master bus, and that will send the audio out to the Clarity M so that you can see what's going on visually. So let's dive in. I'm going to show you the front panel and just kind of how this works in action. Taking a look at the front panel of the Clarity M, I'm going to show you a couple of the different visual options that we have. Right now we're in the radar mode, and what this will do is show you a couple of different readings. First of all, you're going to see these outside rings, and then we have a period of time that the Clarity M in radar mode will give you a measurement. And so what I have it set to right now is a radar speed of a minute, which means that one cycle around this entire radar, which you'll see the readout in a minute, will give you a reading over that 1 minute span. Now you can change this. You could do a reading for 4 minutes, for 12 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on what media type you're producing for or mixing for. We can change the resolution. We can set a target loudness, and we can even do things like set loudness alerts, etc. So a lot of customization in here for each of the visual modes. But let me just give you a look at this and let you see what this radar will give us here. So let me press play. All right, so let me just press pause here, and that will just go ahead and pause the readings. You'll see I've customized my display here. I have things like true peak, program loudness, loudness max in terms of LUFS. You can change all that stuff. You can customize it and move it around. So for instance, if I wanted to edit this, I can just simply go to edit and go to layout. And then we can go up here and I can change what this is giving me. I can leave it blank. We can select all kinds of different options here. And then let's just say that we wanted to go down here and we've got things like correlation, mono deviation. I can change those. There is a balanceometer. So that will give you some different relationships between left and right, mid and side. A lot of different stuff in here, a lot of flexibility in terms of how you choose to customize this. Let's go, maybe you wanted to make this meter a little smaller, give yourself some space for some other parameters. So the options are really endless. And then this is a custom preset that I've made. And let's just say that if I want to go in and just save this, I can just go to library. And this is where you're going to see all of your different settings, and there's different folders. So right now I'm in music production. So they have stuff for standard PPM, music mastering, film and post-production. So I'm just going to save this and, let's just say I got my custom one. I made some changes, just hit store, continue. And then the next time I power the Clarity M on, this will all be there. So let's take a look at the other visual modes. We have a visual representation in terms of frequency and dB there. And I can change various things with this. I can change the resolution. So let's go up here and say maybe we wanted to just do 1 octave of 10 bands. That's going to give you a little bit different visual there. We can change the time. So we've got slow, fast, impulse, and we can also change peak hold. So going down here, we can even change the loudness max metric, which is that measurement here. We've got it set to momentary at this time. We can change that to short term. So again, as I'm going through the menu, you can just see how many endless options you have for customizing this. You can also turn off the peak alert. So for instance, in the DAW right now, I'm obviously using a brick wall limiter with true peak. And so let's just turn that off and let it clip, and I'll show you what's going to happen. Just keep an eye on the true peak max measurement up there and also the peak reading over on the right side. So obviously it's telling me I'm over true peak. Now, if you, for whatever reason, you don't want it to be annoying you with alerts every time you peak, you can just turn that, you can change the level of where it's going to tell you. So if -1 dB true peak is where you want it, or half a dB, or you can just turn it off. All right, moving on to the last visual mode, we've got the V scope, and this is just something that's going to give you a good idea for phase relationship, how things are working in terms of the stereo field. So let's just play this back. I'll show you what that looks like. So as you can see, we can do some cool things like change the color. We can also change the scale of this. So depending on where you set that, it can get quite dramatic. So again, all these three together, they just provide you with a tremendous amount of useful visual information. I also just love the ability to go in here and make different presets, save these things for different occasions, whether it's mastering or production, or maybe you're doing film work, whatever. You can go in here and just have a lot of options, and you can also store these outside of the unit if you want to load them in later. One thing I did want to point out is that there's a real advantage to using the breakout cable versus using the plugin. The main reason being because if you're in plugin mode, that means that you can really only utilize the Clarity M while your DAW is open. So while you're mixing or producing or whatever. But one of the things that I really like about using the AES input is that I can monitor everything coming out of my system. So I have an output set up on my interface where I can monitor things like Spotify. I can monitor the very levels of this microphone as I'm speaking into it, without even having my DAW open. I can monitor all the different devices in my studio. It's just really powerful to be able to have that. All right, y'all, so that is my review for the TC Electronic Clarity M Stereo. Again, just a very useful set of visual indicators that are going to just give you some cues while you're mixing, you're mastering, you're producing, and it also gives you a great amount of screen real estate if you're like me and you're using one monitor, or maybe you just get annoyed with having to have a plugin up all the time to read some of this stuff. And obviously the detail that the Clarity M gives you at just one glance is quite deep. I don't know if there's a plugin out there that I can get this much out of it. And again, I want to leave my monitor for the mixing, for my faders and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to make you necessarily a better mixer, but it's certainly going to help guide you and give you some different visual indications that maybe something is working, maybe something's not working. It's really cool to look at. It's a high quality product. I can definitely tell that this thing is built to last. We'll wait and see. I'll keep you all posted. But again, I'm very excited about this, and I think you all will be too. I'll put a link in the description below. If you have any questions about the Clarity M Stereo, feel free to leave a comment. Please like, subscribe, and consider sharing, and we'll talk to you soon.